So rummaging through my junk drawer, I found 3 different pen screwdrivers. You basically get 2 bits at one end, 2 bits on the other. This one's made by Stanley. This one's made by General. It has some finer bits, which is nice. This one, interestingly, this is a 1/4 20 hole, so that could hold a full-size bit, although you're not going to get a lot of torque out of something this skinny. This one is made by Lutz, although I think that's just the brand name that they've stamped on it, and you can buy this from other brands. I've lost one end of it, but that's okay. I'm going to modify just half of it by cutting it down and then just using just one side. You get a double-sided bit. You also can store or use the bits rather on the hole at the end there. It gives you quite a bit more torque, which is kind of cool. But I wanted to get this on film before I modify it. Sorry about all the construction noise outside. So now instead of pen length, I've cut it down, and I've got it down to just maybe about 1 inch long, which is nice and compact. It's going to be great for my keychain. I could make it even smaller, however, I wanted it big enough so that I can get a full 1-finger grip around it. In a sense, you can even get a little bit more than 1-finger grip on it. So if you need more torque, you can do that. This triangle area could be cut off, but the thing is, this triangle area allows me to use any bit. For instance, these long ones, they need to have this recessed area down at the bottom here. See how the bit actually travels down into that triangular area? And you want it flat here so you can apply pressure as you're doing your adjustment. So having a flat surface here is important. So if I want to be able to use double-sided bits, I think this is as small as I can make it, and it'll take any of my formats of 4mm bits. If you want to ignore the double-sided long ones, this one and this one, it could be cut down even smaller to this length, but I don't think this added length is going to be that detrimental. Plus, it allows you to hold the bits at a right angle. This triangle shape can also hold hexagonal shapes, and this will give you more torque when you need more torque. So having that extra triangle there has advantages. Plus, it means I don't have to worry about installing a keychain hole, because I can actually use the triangle as the attachment point to my keychain. For instance, this little photon light with its quick release device. It's a tight fit, but it will store on one of these. Also could use a split ring. In fact, some people like using split rings on their keychain screwdrivers because you can use that sort of as an added width and added torque device as well. So while sanding this down, cutting off the top, I also discovered this little puck. With the bit in place, if you want. If you don't like this sharp tip, you can store the bit in reverse. And there's a lot of friction. There's no way that's going to fall out. I do have some screwdrivers that have a vinyl cap on the top to sort of protect you from losing the bit, but I'm hard-pressed to see how this is going to pull out by itself in pocket carry. There's enough friction that I don't think that's going to be a problem. But if you want, you could put a vinyl cap on it. And another thing that I cut it this length for is so that it'll still take this cap. So if you'd rather walk around with this on your keychain rather than this, you can still use the cap. So depending on how big you want this, you can make it different sizes. But I like that this universally will take all different sizes, thanks to making it a little bit longer with the triangular hole intact, including the double-sided bits. Complete with a short double-sided bit in place. As you see, it's a little bit shorter than a photon flashlight or a razor blade. So it'll take any of the formats of 4mm bit that I have, one-sided, double-sided, short, double-sided short with the ball bearing friction attachment. My Cybertool 41 uses that. Long double-sided bit and super long double-sided bit. Let's give this an inaugural test using a full-length bit and open up my photon. So I can apply pressure with my finger as I'm rotating with my other fingers, and that's why I like having a flat end to the screwdriver. And it works. That's my new keychain screwdriver. And what I can do is actually store in it my most commonly used bit, for instance, for my eyeglasses. So that may be sort of how I keep it. Or if you want it very short, you can leave nothing in it, or you can store the bit in place and have the end cap on it. And it'll even store the very long bit with the end cap in place. In part 2 of the video, I'm going to discuss possible bit kits. Here's an idea of the scale, the size. It's roughly about the size of a Sharpie pen cap, just a little bit longer. I've also made it so that it'll fit in an Altoids tin, the short dimension, which I like. And then in terms of how you're going to carry it on your keys, I haven't quite decided if I'm going to carry it with or without the cap. With the cap is kind of nice in that you have a storage capability for 3 bits by just carrying the cap, and this is a very strong connection. There's no way this cap's going to fall off in common pocket carry. You have to really yank at it to pull it off. I like that.